Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumed Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I want to speak about problems. Do you have problems? We all have problems, don't we? The thing is, we judge those problems. There's a difference between judgment and discernment. A judgment is a conclusion about someone or something. It's very static. Whereas discernment is a process, a perception of someone or something that doesn't require judgment. Judgment is rigidity, discernment is fluidity. Judgment is the oak tree that gets toppled over by the wind. Discernment is the bamboo that moves with the wind. That's that flow state. So that's the way I want you to understand this. But now moving into the idea of a problem. Have you ever heard this term? The problem contains the solution. Because it's in the level of thinking that the problem was caused. However, the same level of thinking, as Einstein says, I believe, cannot solve that problem. You need a different level of thinking for that solution. So first of all, to change your problem, you've got to change your state of consciousness. And think of it like you going to a different dimension to deal with that issue. Or you can think about it in terms of your character. Who does my character need to be so that this problem is never an issue again? Who does my character need to be? What are the qualities or the character traits that I need to accumulate or install into my archetype and my 5D avatar so that it does not bother me so much? You see what I'm saying? When you start looking for reasons behind your emotions, you start to drift away from your emotions. It's very normal to feel jealousy. Let's say someone bought a nice car. You're jealous. It's just a reaction. However, what has social conditioning taught us? That it's immoral and bad to feel jealous. You might try to escape this feeling of jealousy superficially by judging it. But the jealousy doesn't go away, my friend. Especially if you're a Scorpio like me. You are going to have to face what is if you're serious about freeing yourself. It is the fact that liberates, not the concepts around it. The solutions of your problem lie in the problem, not away from it. If you're smart enough to look into the problem, you'll notice that every problem that you're facing has a solution. That solution lies internally. It's self-help. All help is self-help. So when your mind is busy, you'll never be able to know the solution. Your mind will only give you the solution. And again, it's not a shout. It's not going to shout at you. It's a whisper. You can only hear the answer once you become really quiet and very peaceful and very mindful. The human tendency is we just got to get off and start thinking of possible solutions to the problem and think about it in various ways. But then where's the creativity in that? Creativity is the greatest problem solver. But if we're not giving ourselves the room to be creative and we have a misconception of the problem, that leads us into a wrong direction. So the problem you think is the problem is not the problem at all. It might have a deeper layer or a meaning to it. Analyzing the problem gets us to understand the criticality of it. We as people often misjudge a problem rather than find its real meaning. We do find a solution, but it's not the perfect one because we didn't give ourselves enough time with the problem. You see, each problem is dated and carries a solution in its own. Everything that has a beginning always has an end. I believe that every problem has a solution besides death, and that's the truth. If something has come, it's got to go. What we don't know is how much time it would take to go, or resolve, resolve, to solve again. I think your problem is your biggest teacher. Like post-it notes, for example, or partial solution, they came up with a really nice glue, right? It's an external solution. Too much glue, you take off the paint off the walls. Too little glue, it doesn't stick, the notes will fall off. The full solution would be to help people remember without having to use post-it notes at all. But what it has done is it's introduced simplicity and versatility. How do you know you found the right solution to the right problem? It's when the solution has no further negative implications and it stopped the thought loop in your mind, chasing the solution to the problem. You know, when you're trying to find the solution to a problem, it's just chasing and chasing, but you have this unclosed loop because you can't solve the problem, and then you can't sleep. That's what's happening in certain solutions. You see, a philosopher solves the problems of their time. That's what they do. So if you don't have a solid philosophy, how are you going to be a problem solver? The main techniques the philosophers used to use, especially the Greek philosophers, used to have these three concepts of logos, which is logic, reason, and proof; ethos, which is basically credibility and trust, but it also means character. So this means things like your personal branding, your delivery, you have credible sources. And then pathos, the emotions, the values, the stories, the inspirational quotes, the vivid language that you use to depict amazing feeling imagery. Logic is the comparisons, the analogies, the metaphors you use, the studies, the statistics, the structure, the body main paragraph of what you're saying. You see what I'm saying, guys? You need all three of these. This is the triad. So if you're missing in one, how can you possibly solve a problem? And how can you possibly get into an argument with someone? Let's say that you're fully in an argument, a man and a woman, they're arguing logos and pathos. That's what's going on. The woman is using more emotion, the man is using more logic. But what about the ethos? What about the trust and the credibility? What about the characters of both? What about the way that they're speaking to each other and the delivery that they have? What about the foundation of communication and trust within their character and who they think each other are? Maybe they're painting them as a different character than they're actually not. But if that's what's coming across, there's some incongruencies within the inner world and outer world. So this is where we got to do the work. I hope this video helped you out today. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. See you next time.